allowed the two
It's okay. It's okay. Off your mic. It's okay. Off your mic.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go sama us, call them hate speech. But fear not, Maiyegun don't come. Him go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun Politico, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. This one not the off in mind, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. And in the touchlight every corner, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Sure. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. See them talk say make we off mind, but thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun diary Politico, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. This one not they off in mind, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Maiyegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Maiyegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun diary Politico, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. This man not the off in mind, oh yo yo. Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Hello there.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ aráyé.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Maiyegun live.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Maiyegun já wa sí. Maiyegun diary ibi nọ́mbà wọn. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun diary ibi nọ́mbà wọn. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Maiyegun.
Thank you so much for joining me again. Share the broadcast. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends. Tell them Maiyegun today o.
Diary Politico. Maiyegun diary ibi nọ́mbà wọn. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Maiyegun. Maiyegun diary ibi nọ́mbà wọn. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹ́gbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu. Maiyegun diary ibi nọ́mbà wọn. Àní Maiyegun làwa.
Another $700 million has been given to Kolu, to Thiefnubu, and the reason for that loan is to fund girl education in Nigeria 700 billion naira.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràjì. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràjì. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràjì. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràjì. Maiyegun ti dé.
Also, tonight we are going to review just once more the summary of what happened inside the Chicago court, the place where Kalu is fighting, more or less like fighting for his life, right? Tonight. Also, Thiefnubu's minister has also come out to say to fund the Ministry of Humanitarian to fight poverty as they plan. Their government will spend 30%, and you, us, donors, would have to contribute 70% to get almost 200 million Nigerians out of poverty.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràjì. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràjì. Maiyegun ti dé.
Thank you. Motideo. So good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Maiyegun Live, and I want to ask us to take a moment, just a few seconds, to remember that 2 innocent men are currently being persecuted by Nigeria, and just like many other Nigerians who are suffering from the same government persecution, but these 2 men have done nothing wrong. The first one is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I want all of us to kind of take a moment and remember this, okay? No matter how you see him or how you saw him, I want you to remember that for every court appearance that they've managed to pursue their case to judgment, this guy defeated Nigeria. The last one, which is over a year ago now, their own court said he should be released. So when you are picking the injustice that you are suffering in the hands of these criminals, remember, you should not cherry pick. Don't make it look like when it happens to you, that is when it is wrong. When it happens to others, well, they deserve it. Oloye Sunday Igboho was just like me and you. Concerned Nigerians, you will say, Abi, when the Fulani terrorists invaded the Yoruba land, kidnapping our own people, raping them, collecting ransom, and to the mercy of these terrorists, the government of Nigeria, especially in Western region, looked away. An SOS that he picked on decided to take the battle to this terrorist, cost him his own freedom. It cost him his business. It is costing him his family. His mother died. He did nothing wrong. He took Nigeria to court inside Nigeria, defeated the government of Nigeria inside Nigeria, to the point that their own DSS came to court to beg and said if Oloye Sunday Igboho was to be compensated as ruled by the court, right, Nigeria was going to go bankrupt. Now, these 2 injustices are not different from whatever injustice you think you are suffering, if they are not greater. You've done nothing wrong. They've done nothing wrong. Nigeria came for them. Now, they cannot live the normal life that you currently are living. So I want you to remember that. Because whenever we talk about the injustice, I want you to know that the injustice that Nigeria represents has created a lot of dissidents today. To those of us who are clamoring and asking that Nigeria should peacefully break so that we can easily handle our different headaches, you know, by our regions. This is not strange. This is not new. This was what our own forebearers signed up for from the word go when Nigeria was going to get independence. But you see, the continued failure of these criminals, right, will continue to give credence to our own argument. The argument that Nigeria can never work. Because you see, injustice is not different per se. And most of the time, it is ideal for you not to suffer great injustice before you understand what it simply means, especially systemic injustice. Now, because Nigeria represents systemic injustice, everyone is always served, right? Even when they play the religious, the tribal, or ethnic card. But when you look around, there is no part of Nigeria that is not marginalized. There is no part of Nigeria that is not suffering from this injustice of maladministration or misadministration or complete leadership failure. No part of Nigeria, no gender, no, no age group that is not suffering it. But if you think, right, that injustice to this person is deserving, why do you want to you is not deserving? It's going to continue to make it difficult for us to actually have a frontal, one single argument against systemic injustice. Now, as long as the systemic injustice continues, ladies and gentlemen, right, more and more people are going to continue to demand and disintegrate, as in, you know, mentally or what have you. They will continue to kind of cut off from Nigeria. The failure of Nigeria gave birth to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The failure of leadership in Nigeria gave birth to to Oloye Sunday Igboho and the rest of those who are asking to go their peaceful ways now before it turns real bloody or a civil war. And to so many historians, they said, no country survived 2 civil wars, okay? Nigeria has become the headquarters of injustice to the point that its injustice has actually become law. You know, that people have decided to kind of normalize abnormalities. When people are abusing your constitution, violating your constitution in a way with so much impunity, daring that, what can you do? When people become law unto themselves, what do you think they're going to create? They are going to create a divided country whereby a lot of people who are always agree with another option or another alternative to what is currently being offered. What is Nigeria offering? If they ask you, what exactly would you say Nigeria is offering us? And with the leadership failure that continues to stare us on the face, claiming its victims in millions, generations are being born into poverty. There is no sign of them coming out of it. These guys don't care because they don't want to be responsible for that. Now, as long as this continues, for example, when poverty continues or when poverty grows, crime grows. And when crime grows, right, then you don't have any sort of development that's going to ever come to you. No development come to an area that is violent, restive. And these criminals are laughing to the banks every now and then, cashing out and the rest of that, caring less what their own failure actually means to the rest of us. So every now and then, the system is going to continue, okay, to create more and more Nnamdi Kanus, more and more Oloye Sunday Igbohos. But when they show face, they would be more violent. Because by then, they would have learned from those who diplomatically, conversationally, were asking that this union is not working. Everybody can see it. Every sort of solutions that have been thrown at it have sort of failed. And there is nowhere in the world, ladies and gentlemen, that you will give the power to those who created the problem for them to fix the problem. They won't. Number one, they created problem that they have never been held responsible for. Right? which means they've never been punished for them. Rather, they've been rewarded, okay, with even more higher position because they believe that they can fix it. Nobody who intentionally created a problem is going to ever intentionally fix it, especially if their career, if their livelihood is built on that problem and failure. That is what Nigeria is. Everything that escalated to what you're having today, a divided country whereby an unstopper, somebody you can call an impostor, who rigged himself in an unpopular way and is managed to continue to drive down the root of that illegality, okay? Breakdown of law and order done by the people that are supposed to uphold the law and order. They will create more Nnamdi Kanus. And those ones are not going to be diplomatic because they can see what diplomacy did to them, to Nnamdi Kanu. They will see what diplomacy has done to Oloye Sunday Igboho. So they will choose a different path. And that is why everybody who can really easily, genuinely, without all of this, your hypocrisy, political correctness, if they can sit down and just look beyond all the colorations, right? Tribe, religion, ethnic, and other different nonsense that they have managed, okay, to hook a lot of you on. They are like drugs. They've hooked many of you. If you can look beyond that, you will realize that these guys don't mean well for Nigeria. Aiding and abetting them or hoping or expecting them to actually do it right, when they continue to do it wrong, the injustice that is being served will create more and more and more dissident people who are actually going to go even more kind of harder on ensuring that that conversation they never wanted to have. That simple conversation of what is Nigeria? Who is a Nigerian? How do you define that? What are the rights of a Nigerian, right? These things are never, for any reason, clearly stated anywhere. Nigeria is a banana republic, a crime scene where criminals are the lord of the manor, where lunatics have taken over the asylum, and people have now sort of, in fear, turned to God to come and save them from the physical, mortal criminals who have all the powers, whether they stole it or what have you. So the injustice to one is injustice to all, as they say, practically means you have to be upright about it, be honest about it. You shouldn't be cherry picking innocent people who have committed no crime, have been denied their liberty, their freedom. And what created these two men is still happening, and they are going to create more. David Dundeyi is now being haunted by the same establishment that despise truth, honesty, sincerity. It is not theirs. All they need to do is to hang that tag on you. You are committed. They will say you are committing treason. You see that conversation about that Nigeria that they are so scared of having, because they believe if they should have a genuine national conversation, where there is no gray area, no go area, or what have you, in that conversation, a lot of Nigerians, if they are presented with the option of break away from Nigeria, or break up Nigeria into the regions, or every other option, or apart from this current Nigeria, it will be surprising that majority of Nigerians would decide something different from the current arrangement. So they don't want to have that conversation. But a generation that will force us and force all of us, whether you like it or not, that will force everybody to finally say, you know what, you don't do. Mo will actually talk. Mo will break this thing up. Anything where they won't do now, Mo will try them. Because you know why? the failure of these criminals, the further growth of poverty, corruption that has now become legal, okay? The oppression, the suppression that has become the state policy in Nigeria, they will lead everybody to that stage, create more people that are going to see the picture clearer. There is no one Nigeria. What you have is many Nigerias. Don't wait to be a victim of that injustice before you before you will kind of come around and agree that this is not working. It won't work. It is the same playbook. I'm sorry that I took more than a minute. I just thought you should take a moment and think about this. Look at the mess that they have created now. Look at what things are now. Look at them still not taking responsibility. Look at them still pointing fingers. The division that has brought Nigeria to this state, look at them milking it, okay? Yorubas versus Igbo, Igbos versus Fulani, Fulani versus Hausa, Christians versus Muslims. But when you look at the basket of their victims of a failed leadership, victims of terrorism, victims of economic jihad, victims of all this underdevelopment, you will see all those people that they have turned against themselves. The Igbos, the Hausas, the Fulanis, the Ijos, the Shekiris, the TVs, the Yorubas. You will see everybody in that basket. And at the same time, you will see all of those victims too, holding different weapons, trying to slaughter themselves. And when you look at them and say, why are you almost killing yourselves? They will say, my religion is bigger than his religion. My tribe is superior than his tribe. It's ethnic, this and that. And this is what the criminals are milking, taking our heart off the real goal. Is Nigeria working? Are their own actions showing that Nigeria is still going to recover and work? Is Nigeria one? Are Nigerians united? Do Nigerians have one thing or anything in common per se, other than poverty, corruption, underdevelopment, all those things that we share together? Could you tell me, right, that this is actually a dream? It's not real. The real thing happening will soon come to reality. I mean, make me believe. You will have that conversation. But let us continue fooling ourselves. Let us continue being kind of deluding ourselves. Let us all continue to be politically correct. But one of these days, the systemic injustice would happen to you. And you will understand how it feels. And just like they say, when they came for the socialist, you didn't see anything because I wasn't a socialist. Abi? So when they came for the Christians, let me say when they came for the Jews, no, in fact, let's use Nigeria narrative. When they came for the Shiites, it wasn't my problem because I wasn't Shiite. Abi? When they came for Omoyele Sowore and his revolution now, oh, they deserved it. At least I'm not a revolution now. Then they went for IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, and so many other young people from Eastern Nigeria that they have killed so far. A lot of you felt like, thank God, I'm actually not an IPOB. I'm not an Igbo man. Now they deserve it or whatever. Abi? Then they left them and they went for the NSAS young people who were asking for simple things. 5 demand. Stop police brutality on the citizens, okay? Take care of the policemen. Pay them good salaries. Give them good welfare. Give them life insurance. Arm them properly. And ensure that those who have committed crime as policemen are punished for their crimes. Do all of these things and we are fine. What did they do? They slaughtered them as well. Some of you felt like, oh, at least I am not a part of the NSAS. Maybe they deserve it. Abi? Right before our very eyes, they brought out their guns. They shot Yoruba men and women in Lagos. They killed them. And some of you felt like, oh, why are they asking for Yoruba nation now? They deserved it. But generally, what some of you are not paying attention to is the economic jihad. The economic jihad is the one where they are not attacking you physically, but they are attacking your economic prowess, your spending power. They are making you poorer, even without having to take anything from you. Today, a lot of you are jobless. A lot of you, your businesses are gone. Abi, so many of you have lost your relationship. Some of you have lost your marriages. Some of you have lost your best. You've lost things. You couldn't tell how you lost them, but look at their policies. How they have now put you in the basket of 145 million extremely poor Nigerians. You can live your fake life. You can live in denial. You can point fingers. You can blame others, but yourselves and your decisions or your choices. But the truth of the matter is this: when all the veil, when the lights are off, when everybody goes back to their personal life, you can tell what they have taken from you and what they still plan on taking from you. Maybe your life has not been taken yet. They've taken others' lives. They are not even going to be responsible for that at all. So one of these days, you know what you have lost. And that is called economic jihad. Okay? When you look at those who have suffered this, then you will see APC, you will see PDP, you will see Labour, you will see Obedient, you will see Christian, you will see Muslim, you will see Northerner, you will see Southerner, you will see Yoruba, you will see Hausa, Fulani, Ijo, Igbo. Everyone is a victim of what these guys have done. You would get there the day you feel it personally more than this. It is called extreme injustice. Others are suffering it today. You probably are those who are one of those Yavuvu sellers, hailing them on. Arrest them, kill them, show them, put them in jail. But if you pay attention very well, that same jail, they are already managing the asylum. You are a member there. Maybe you think, the modern day slavery is still in chains and in gates. A lot of people have come to realize that modern day slavery is no longer about chains and shackles. It is mental. The day you sort of release yourself from that mental slavery and you understand how much damages these guys have done to you, to your children, to their future, and you begin to weigh these options, how much of your lifetime they are taking from you, how much of it they are frittering away, around that time, you will realize that putting people in jail for outing them or criticizing them will never get you or make you free. You won't be free, especially if you are in that, under that mental slavery. They can lie to you. You can believe all their lies. But the reality is this. Once you begin to understand what they are taking from you, and you understand what that truly means to you, Baba, you will be worse than Oloye Sunday Igboho. You will fight tooth and nail. Nobody's going to motivate you. Nobody's going to come and fight for you. But it is going to be gradual. You know what they say? Whenever you are living through history, it is always very slow. So that when people talk about this in years to come, they will just write them inside a single book or many books. But the rest of you who live through all of that, will believe that it is too slow. Why is it not this? Why are the people not that? Why are they not this? Calm down. Their failure will take us there. The breakup of Nigeria is not going to be because I want it. It is not going to be because you want it. All right? It is going to be because this failure is going to lead us there. And you are going to be a champion of it soon. Mind you, that Nigeria will not break. It's also not going to be because you don't want it to break. That Nigeria will remain Nigeria for a long time to come. It's also not because I also want it to remain Nigeria. it is the action and the inaction of these irresponsible ruiners that will determine that. So ideally, I would choose a day. I would choose a path that I believe represents true identity. We were never supposed to be one country. And with this failed and mismanaged country, that will always give credence to those of us who believe that. And when that bell rings, I would love to be on the path of history of those who chose the real identity, my language, and the people that I shared that with. I will call them the people of my own nation, my own country. And whatever is our problems then, let it be our own headache. Whatever is our aspiration then, let it be our own inspiration. Whatever is going to be our goal or whatever it is then, let us be the architect of our own destiny. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Let's go to today's issue. Still talking about the failures that we always give credence to those of us who believe no matter what you do, no matter what you want or you wish, or to whatever on Nigeria, as long as those criminals who are in charge have made a career out of it, this Nigeria that is not working for so many of us, right? For the majority of the population, okay, it is not by accident. It is not coincidence. These guys wanted it to be exactly like this. This divided Nigeria, this one that they are promoting divisive tribal rhetorics by the establishment, it is not by accident, okay? It is by design, okay? And because they felt like they have succeeded so far, indeed, let it remain as it is. So it is not by your own genuity, it is not by your own wisdom or whatever it is that you think you have for Nigeria that is going to make Nigeria better. No, they don't want it to be better than what it is now. Do you understand? Right. These guys said they would make sure that, number one, they said Nigeria is a mess. They agreed. Okay? They said Nigeria is a mess. And this mess is a financial mess caused by Bokwari. When Bokwari was destroying Nigeria economy, when jobs and businesses were folding up, because these are the things that affect you, that affects, okay, directly. It doesn't matter whether you like those who are in power or you don't like them. Their policies affect you, including those who also like them, including those who are also supporting them, including those who believe that they will change their lives by changing the country, they will change their lives, open and the rest of that. So, indeed, when Bokwari was reigning and destroying Nigeria, these guys were helping to push propaganda that Nigerians should wait. They would eventually reap the bountiful result of those suffering. They call that sacrifices. But they were not sacrifices. You were stealing from them. You were looting from them. You were putting up pictures as achievement for them. Meanwhile, all of these are not having any direct impact on them. Human capital development is almost zero. Nigeria lost everything. But the same crooked group of criminals who nudged Bokwari on, who were telling you then that you are enemy of Nigeria for not wishing Nigeria well when Bokwari was destroying Nigeria, they turned around and they said, listen, Bokwari actually destroyed Nigeria for real. That the last time Nigeria has real economic growth was pre-2015. This guy said that. So it means that they wasted your lives, ruined your businesses, ruined your everything for 8 years. A lot of you were blaming yourselves for everything, blaming devil, blaming the village people, and whoever you could blame at the time. Abi? So they came back to say, well, it wasn't your fault. It was the financial rascality and recklessness of Bokowari and Emefiole that did all of that. Right? They were just telling you that in 2023. So what are they doing differently? What are they doing differently that you can believe recovery is in the process, it's in the pipeline? So when you come on MaiyegunSDiary Politico and you decide to take it a little bit personal because you are either foolish or you are one of them. And when I say one of them, we know that instead of creating a system that is productive and that serves Nigerians, they have created a system, a proxy system, whereby whatever is meant for Nigeria goes into private pockets. Okay? And therefore, it has become the system in a way that has never been beneficial to anybody. When they talk about electricity, they make it look like it is going to be one new discovery that is going to give Nigerians 24 hours electricity. So when they want to talk about better constructed road networks, they make it look like it has to come from one genius thinking or what have you from somewhere before that could be delivered. So they make it so complicated because initially, on paper, you see governments and you see institutions, but behind all of that, they have created proxy system that is acting in place of the supposed legal institutions that are supposed to supervise and see through all of these things and report back as well. So at the end of the day, none of this is beneficial to the direct citizens. Okay? So what are they doing differently? They started lying. They started lying. They started talking about one fake hope. Hope without work is what? Is useless. Abi, is that not what they say? It says in the Bible. Faith. Is it faith without work? Is meaningless. It's useless. If you have a faith that if you grow cassava, they are going to sort of help you to produce gari, fufu, starch, and every other thing from it. So what you have to do is to what? Plant the cassava first. Work and toil the ground, the land. Plant the cassava. Clear the weed around it. Water it. Ensure that it actually, you work so that the day you are going to harvest the cassava, all your dream about having gari, making fufu, or making starch from that cassava can then come true. They are telling people about hope, hope, renewed hope, renewed hope. But their actions are showing renewed shege, renewed shege. They devalued Nigeria currency. They looted Nigeria crude oil and the money that comes from it. And then they started promising you hope on education, student loan. Have you seen any constitution of the group of managers or bankers for the student loan bank? Lies. They are giving people hope. Lórí ahọ́n, on mouth. And they want them to believe in it. Meanwhile, their actions are showing that it is renewed shege. They made Nigerians believe that it is the right thing to do to remove subsidy. Okay? So as Nigerians know what that meant, what that actually meant to them, a lot of them were then expecting the government to also be able to tell them that they understand what it means to remove subsidy. So that communication was not there. It's just gone. So it was Nigerians who are now explaining to themselves. Imagine, Nigeria is paying 4 trillion naira, 5 trillion naira for fuel subsidy. Imagine if Nigeria is using that money to construct roads or using that money to fund education. Imagine using that 4 trillion every year to fund housing. Shebi, that is so easy, Abi. But whenever that same 4 trillion, which they deliberately created for subsidy money, for their friends, for themselves, they never hold the oil marketers. Have you ever heard that Nigeria is owing subsidy money? Have you ever heard that before? They always make that available. It is their own money that they have created through the back door. And they have decided to blackmail the whole country. Your government blackmailing you by saying, if we don't pay this money, you are going to buy fuel at the rate of 1,500 naira per liter. Your government blackmailing you. The failed government that couldn't manage 6 refineries in Nigeria. They couldn't build any new one. For the past 24 years, no single refinery is working in Nigeria, but they have never missed subsidy payments, ever. Oil marketers have never protested that government has not paid them or did not pay them subsidy money because they are them. So if your government now says, we have removed it, and the avuvu sellers, propagandists, are coming to you to say it is a good idea because 4 trillion can now be used for maintaining your refineries. 4 trillion can now be used for education. 4 trillion can now be used for transportation. But you know, when it is now time for them to use the 4 trillion for transportation, 4 trillion for electricity, 4 trillion for healthcare, there will be no 4 trillion to spend on them anymore. But when there is a need for 4 trillion to be paid to these fraudsters called oil marketers, saboteurs that have ensured that refineries in Nigeria will never work, the governments who are also in bed with that. Imagine a country where your Minister of Petroleum is your president, and the saboteurs who are now oil marketers are making billions of dollars for selling your own crude oil, refined crude oil, back to your people. But your president is the Minister of Petroleum. 24 years, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think? It is unfortunate. Thank you very much, Festus or Shifeso. Same to you as well, Augustine. Augustine Eduagaye. Thank you for that. Do you understand what I am saying there, right? It is a system they have created that way. All this idea of selling false hope to the people will never change their lives, okay? And no amount of blackmail, gaslighting, and including incarceration will make false to be truth, and will make the truth to be lie. No way. So it's a criminal system in a nutshell. Subsidy removed. Oh, what do we do now? People are complaining. Everything is expensive. Oh, okay. You know what? Let us just give them 80,000 naira. Okay, where are we going to see the money? Let us go and borrow the money. Okay, we need 800 billion naira. so that we can use that to cushion the effect of subsidy removal. We can also give some money to some people, to some states. Let them buy buses too. Oh, that's good. So that will just reduce the price of transportation. Oh, okay, that's a good idea. Where do we get the money from? Let us go and borrow it. So in the course of them going, remember, they were borrowing money to pay their friends for subsidy, but it's gone. But they need money now to pay you who are going to suffer the removal, supposedly. Now, when they got the money, hang on. No, we cannot just give them all of that money. We need 200 billion from that money, another 100 billion, another 35 billion for the judges. You see that 200 billion, that one is for those newly elected lawmakers. We need to also give them, because they are homeless, okay? They are mostly, they are like homeless. So we need to get them that and settled, okay? We need 200 billion. They also need cars. We need 100 billion for that. All right. And the judges too. All the judges, they need money. We need to give them $35 billion. Naira too. Okay. Then what about the people? Maybe we should just give them rice. Okay, give them rice and maybe 5,000 naira. What are we going to do next month? Are we going to be go and give them this one first and tell them to be hopeful and that they should sacrifice. Okay, that one of these days, everything's going to be fine because we are going to use their subsidy money. Okay, we're going to use it to build road. We're going to use it to build this and that, blah, 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 blah. Pay people and tell them all of that. That's it. And then everywhere, if they are not breaking somebody's head because of rice palliative, then they beat somebody's mama, somebody's papa somewhere else, or other people are just like, they are just dragging the expired food that they brought to their own local government or what have you. Others who are just staring at those rice, they're like, how do you want us to share this now? Which means they never planned anything. So the uproar over 80,000 naira, that suddenly just put them aback and they said, no, don't give them money again. Today, after 3 months, and then the subsidy they told you they removed, then they went behind the scene to go and take $3 billion. $3 billion. And they gave it to their friends. Now, their friends wouldn't have to go to the central bank or go to the Bureau de Change to get dollars to go and import petrol to Nigeria. They got the 3 billion. They have finished the 3 billion now. Now, dollars to Naira. They are now doing a relay race. All the jargons, all the nonsense about Naira Kinikon, market forces, all the nonsense they told you. They've all proven that you are in Shege Pro Max, renewed Shege. It is not renewed hope. Because what they are renewing is the continuation of the fraud and the ruinous regime of APC, Egbekegbe, led by Mumumadu Bokwari. That is exactly the same playbook, the same pattern, the same lies, the same propaganda. So if I sit down here and tell you, you are headed for the same place, would you not agree with me? In one of those ridiculous financial rascality, all right, or financial irresponsibility of Bokwari was when they returned Abacha loot. Listen to this one. They said Swiss bank returned Abacha loot. Guess how much Abacha loot was returned that period I'm about to tell you. $450 million. Abacha loot returned to Nigeria. That same week, Pastor Ruga, Ekene Shatabandu, you know him, I'm talking about Agboworin Baba Oja, Oshinbade, Pastor Ruga, special advisor to Bokwari, on burial arrangements, condolences matters, and trader money. Pastor Ruga quickly chartered helicopters and he started sharing 10,000 naira to those they called market women, and they called it trader money, Abacha loot. They shared it according to them. 2 weeks after they received Abacha loot that they shared, Nigeria was applying for 250 million naira loan from World Bank in order to battle malaria. I didn't make that up. You can read about it. 2 weeks after they shared 450 million, according to them, to poor people in Nigeria or to traders in Nigeria, they applied for $250 million loan from World Bank in order to fight malaria in Niger Delta region. They were so specific. Malaria in Niger Delta region. So they got the money, they got the loan. Okay? As well as the interest that comes with the loan. It is part of Nigeria overall debt today that is over $150 billion. So Nigeria currency, Naira, has taken so much hit from these lunatics who believes that what is wrong in printing money? Inflation, inflation is just number. And then they can come around and say, to battle poverty, unemployment is to first of all, falsify the statistics of those who have jobs and those who don't. Then their policy of combating and bringing people out of poverty is to map them down and say, give 10,000 naira to 12 million households. And by so doing, multiply 12 million by 5, you get 60 million. So in their book, once they give 10,000 naira to 12 million household of five people, that is 60 million. They have lifted 60 million out of poverty. In their book, in their policy, renewed hope, renewed Shege. So in a space of 3 months, in their effort to try and cover, and in order to score something they can at least call an achievement, in 3 months, to cover up the financial recklessness of Bokwari, which they haven't even issued an arrest warrant on right now, which is also a pointer to tell you that these criminals are going to be worse than Bokwari, and they are just going to use Bokwari's templates to further ruin and divide and break up Nigeria. I'm up for that. It's just that it is so expensive. A lot of people are going to die, and they are not going to be killed because of the violence they're killing alone. They're going to die because of this economic jihad of these rogues and criminals. It is the same template. Where is the hope coming from? $7 billion in a space of 3 months, trying to cover the financial recklessness of the immediate past criminals. Where somebody spent over $60 billion, 60 billion naira to launch a logo, ordinary graphic design of an helicopter, of a plane, of a logo. And he got away with that. And he also managed to boldly say he spent 14 billion naira procuring firefighting trucks. And at the same time, we can see all these rogues who are living in their different palaces in Nigeria, outside Nigeria, and yet this is the money that has now become the debt over Nigerians today. Just so you know, when they come around and tell you that they are going to, even if they decide to give you 100,000 naira every month because of this economic situation that they created, ladies and gentlemen, with the debt of Nigeria and the population of Nigeria per head, husband and wife, every Nigerian right now is currently owing, from those who have broken it down, plus or minus, 407,000 naira. So if you are married, your husband, your wife, the husband and wife, 407,000, 407,000, 814,000 naira. Two of you are owing. When they share the debt of Nigeria on all of you, each of you is owing 407,000 naira. And this is just coming from what Thiefnubu has borrowed in 3 months and what Bukwari did in 8 years. Think about your life. Think about your life. Think about your future in such economy, in such country. Think about your children and still think if this is all about your religion or your tribe or your party or whatever class you put yourself, even the rich people. I mean, supposedly those who claim to be rich, they are also under fire right now. A lot of them are currently weighing the options. Must sell every of my assets here and just leave this country. Not for me, but for my children. What is it going to be like in 5 years? What is it going to be like in 10 years? You are losing money even without doing any betting. You are not gambling, but you are shrinking. A lot of you, I mean, I can go on and on and on and on and on and on like that. 407,000 naira each. And I'm just being kind of generous. This is just like you, boyfriend and girlfriend, though. If you have your own children, they have already calculated them. Let's say you have 3 kids. They are still kids, yo. But with the projection of Nigeria population and the depth of Nigeria, if they decide to start holding everybody, your children are also owing 407,000 naira. So talk to me. If currently the money they borrowed in the name of Nigeria has put every living Nigerian in debt, including myself, who is here. I know every time I say that to some of us here, they say, Maiyegun, stop it. I know they owe any shishi. I know owe anybody any shishi. No count me. I know. Me too, I know anybody. But I'm just saying, literally. If they break it down and they use this population, just like now all of us, they share in the mystery of Nigeria. Now every tribe, every religion, every region, everybody is sharing in this poverty, sharing in this insecurity, sharing in this underdevelopment and bad leadership. Everyone is sharing from it. So the basic, now everybody they share from But I understand the argument of my brothers from the eastern part of Nigeria. It will shock you. Would it shock you or not? That there is no single completed Nigeria project in the entire eastern part of Nigeria. I swear. These are some of the things that they'll say when you are reading about some hidden facts. Are you following me? If you are reading about some hidden facts, and this fact is just going to be like, no way, no way, no way. That's not possible. It will tell you about Nigeria. The fraudulent one Nigeria is not one. You know, when I just mentioned the debt now, when they say, what is the population of Nigeria? A lot of you who did current affairs, I always kind of follow this. You know a lot. How many states, how many local government, how many tribes, how many languages, how many regions and all of that stuff. You are so current, Abi. So when I said that if you divide Nigeria debt includes the money the government of Nigeria borrowed for projects, as they always claim, to develop Nigeria, every part of Nigeria. But do you know, or would you believe it? Like I am telling you right now, that there is no single federal government project, federal government completed project in the eastern part of Nigeria. Let me give you an example of a federal government project. Okay, so that you understand what I'm saying. You see that train from Abuja to Kaduna? That is funded by the taxpayers' money. The taxes from every part of Nigeria. Sure you get. So when they borrow money to build that train, that rail line, you see that road from Abuja to Kaduna or Sokoto to, what do you call it, to Niger, or Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, or Lagos to Ibadan Railway, or the Lagos Nigeria Seaport. Those are projects that were funded by taxpayers all over Nigeria. Because you know what they do in Nigeria? They take money, they take taxes from everywhere. They put it in a jar. Inside that jar, they will now start sharing the money according to size of your own region or your state. So the southern Nigeria contributes over 80% of Nigeria's revenue, Nigeria's taxes. Every penny that the government of Nigeria make, 80% of that come from the southern Nigeria. But when it comes to the sharing of that resources, that revenue, because of size, the northern Nigeria is bigger. The northern Nigeria is like ×2 of the southern Nigeria. So by design, and those who have designed the sharing, they have to share according to your size. So southern Nigeria contributes 80%. Northern Nigeria contributes less than 20%. That's being generous, by the way. But when it comes to sharing, the northern Nigeria will take 68% of the total money. And southern Nigeria will take 32% of the total money. This is the sharing formula. And this is the meaning of one Nigeria. If you stop that, you have broken up Nigeria. Once there is no one sharing, there is no one Nigeria anymore. Do you understand? So this sharing formula, which has left southern Nigeria sort of, poorer, has never actually made the northern Nigeria richer. It has always been about these rogues and the beneficiaries. But just before I kind of go deeper in that again, let me take a step back and explain to you what this new one simply means. Just add it to the rest. Okay? So, if you believe that Nigeria is in debt of this size, and every Nigerian holds this, then if the people of the eastern Nigeria says, we know the whole kobo, shishi, there is no completed trail line or train track in eastern Nigeria. There is no functional seaport in eastern Nigeria. There is no completed road or federal roads in eastern Nigeria. They have a popular one that they have been constructing for the past 20 years. It is called the East-West Road. That name is self-explanatory, Abi. East, eastern Nigeria. West, western Nigeria. The super highway that could have been like that of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway has been under construction for the past 20 years in eastern Nigeria. So when the people of eastern Nigeria says, we have been contributing, they have been taking taxes from us, we have been paying our dues like everyone else, if not more. We have become the target of the state, which has targeted our businesses. They've targeted our own economic well-being. But nevertheless, we have never been found wanting. With all of this that we are paying to Nigeria, what did we get back? 24 hours electricity, functional rail line or railways, super functional federal motorways, no federal medical centers or standard schools built by the federal government of Nigeria. I mean, like, everybody is suffering from this. I'm just saying. Like, some of us can still boast of few things they've managed to put in place. In Eastern Nigeria, there is no one single completed major federal government of Nigeria's project in Eastern Nigeria. No single one. 24 years of democracy. I'm not asking you, please don't ask me who is to blame for that. Okay? So who is to blame for the no electricity in Yoruba land? Who is to blame for the insecurity and all of that, The criminals who are always united. Now you, they shout one Nigeria and you see the shout say you be Igbo. Now you, they identify as Yoruba and you see the shout as one Nigeria. Deceiving yourself. Now you, they identify as Hausa or Fulani and shouting one Nigeria. Deceiving yourself. Okay? And immediately, this issue of your tribe, your ethnic, your religion, and all of that comes to, you are ready to kill yourselves. You see the criminals who are benefiting from your division. They are from the east, they are from the west, they are from the north, they are from everywhere. They are from your religion. They are from everybody's part of Nigeria. They are united all over you. And they are watching you slaughter yourselves. If you do, by the way, 1 second though. So if the Easterner says, no, we know they hold them anything, no, fine. But let's go back to the trajectory that these guys are taking that is not different from that of Bokwari. So if you are still kind of open on nonsense, then it is not their fault, not your fault. Do you understand? Like some of you who love to live in denial. Some of you who love to kind of poke people and tell them to have a little bit of hope. You cannot hope on fraudsters, liars, especially when you see the pattern. What should have worked on you should have been, like majority of you in Nigeria should be having PTSD. The PTSD you have suffered under Bokwari, the PTSD of you hoping and thinking that maybe people were wrong about Bokwari, and you are hoping that Bokwari will do something different. He will do it different. Maybe something will change until you finally concluded that you have made a mistake of your life for believing that Bokwari meant well. Now, if somebody is now playing the same card with Thiefnubu, shouldn't that give you a PTSD? If somebody is coming back with the same line, accusing you of not being patriotic, accusing you of not liking Nigeria, for not following the same trajectory of lies, shouldn't you be so triggered? Hey, don't tell me that. That was how you told us during Bokwari's time. I was one of those who believe in Bokwari. I was this and that. So don't bring me that nonsense. Don't tell me that I'm overreacting. Don't tell me that I don't like Nigeria. You said the same thing during Bokwari's time. What was the end of that? What happened after that? All of you will claim to love Nigeria. See Nigeria now. Please. Biko. That is the PTSD you should have. You shouldn't be one of those that will then say, but Thiefnubu, what he did in Lagos, show monkey ni. You should have PTSD. You should be triggered when these criminals begin to blackmail you or gaslight you. You can see the trajectory. You can see the moves. So don't be deceived enough to say, I'm just thinking that because no. You are not learning. And that's not fine. Because you are going to end up like those who waited on Bokwari. If you are lucky enough to live long enough to escape what is coming. So many people who were hoping on Bokwari, they didn't live to regret it. They are dead. If you are lucky to survive it, you're going to have the same, if not worse. So there's no point in in you holding on to something that is not real. There's no point in telling yourself that all of the signs, all of these things that you are seeing, they are, you know, they can be remedied at some point. They can't. It's the same actors, same playbook. The one that led Nigeria to the most, to this indebtedness, bankruptcy, poverty, high crime, terrorism. Just take a look and, don't ignore the obvious. Now, maybe when you begin to see the real threat there, what people are saying about resisting and standing up and bringing it to an end, if you don't stop them, they will never stop. So when the citizens are so aware, so self-aware, that they begin to build that courage of resist, common goal, despite all your differences, all our differences, the moment you begin to link up and click it together and see that these guys don't mean well. They can buy time forever. But do you have that time? So that's what they have just done now. They have been given another $700 million. And that's that's kind of the beauty of it. A lot of money. Oh my God. 700 billion to fund girl education. 700 billion naira, because if you exchange it to 1,000 naira to $1 now, 700 billion, and it is going into the private pocket of these rogues, and you are still going to not see, you will never see the impact of that 700 billion naira loan for girl education. Just the same way they claimed to be spending 500 billion naira on sharing it to the poorest of the poorest in Nigeria. Same thing they told you, that it's costing them over 45 billion naira every week. 180 billion naira every month to feed the school children in Nigeria. I know some of you have forgotten that they claimed that they were spending over 180 billion naira for school feeding program. These criminals. Here is another 700 for them. And this is the one that is currently public. There are others that are probably in the pipeline. And they are currently telling themselves that they could put together a package for Thiefnubu. And Thiefnubu will go on a global tour soon. So everywhere he goes, he's going to be begging for debt forgiveness for Nigeria and some African countries. Chinese know they forgive loan. So when Bokwari was taking the China loan, and for so many of you who probably have been following that, it got to a point whereby some of the defaulting countries in Africa who took loans from China, they had to forfeit their national asset built with those loans. Okay? So at a point, we believe that rather than for China to forgive Nigeria debts, they will take over all of those infrastructures and every other things that Nigeria used as collateral. Shebokwari that used Nigeria foreign reserve as collateral to collect money, the money that we don't know what they did with it, except for the fact that the money is traced to Dangote refinery at the time. So how many of Nigeria national assets that China would have to come and take? But you see Thiefnubu and his gang, they are now putting together an international tour where Thiefnubu will be begging all of these creditors, asking them to forgive some of Nigeria debt so that he can say, instead of arresting those who stole Nigeria money, who are now enjoying their resources, put them in jail and take back those resources. Instead of doing that, they are going to put more and more forex together, more millions of dollars together, and send Thiefnubu on a Bambi Ala tour. Go abroad with your bowl. Beg them to forgive the debts. Don't worry. Until then, we can start taking some small loans here and there, backdoor loans, and they are still piling the whole thing up. And Nigerian Naira can continue to take the dive, falling from the cliff. And when Nigerian Naira falls from the cliff, to those of you who don't understand, although you are not spending dollars in Nigeria, these criminals have ensured that their policies have killed businesses. Small and big businesses are folding up. I am talking about over 18,000 businesses folded up under Boko Haram alone. That is a factual statistic, by the way. And that means the figure of over 80 million Nigerians becoming jobless in 8 years of Boko Haram makes sense. If you lost over 18,000 businesses in 8 years, you have lost the chunk of what should have been your source of revenue. Government have no business in business, you know. The only thing government does is to take and take. For government to take more and make more, all they have to do is to make the environment, is to make the whole system conducive for businesses. When businesses are making money and they are expanding, they will be employing. The more people they employ, the more outlets they open, the more taxes government makes. So the richer the society, the business communities, the richer the government. In 8 years, Boko Haram's government killed businesses, killed jobs, and then went borrowing. And in that 8 years, Nigerians have been going through sorrowing, sorrowing after the other. So the same step is what Thiefnubu is taking. Okay, let's borrow more. Okay, and see if they will forgive us our debt. Let's tell them Nigeria is about to go bankrupt. The rest of West Africa is going to suffer it. We can no longer fund our power generating system anymore. They can't fund your electricity generating plant in Nigeria anymore. Nigerians they would have to get used to national grid collapsing every now and then. They cannot invest. There is no way for them getting new investment in your power sector due to the corruption and so much fortune that has been sunk into it. The investors who have been regular there, they know all of this and they know the corruption surrounding it. This same pattern that led to this is still what is still playing out. So if you have no new investor, I'm talking about real investor in your power sector, because of the corruption therein, under Boko Haram of 8 years, Nigeria national grid collapsed 122 times. At a point, it was a major news. And it got to a point, from the start, it was a major news. Oh my God, national grid collapse. But people in Nigeria got used to it. That when they no longer put it as headline, they will just put it at the corner of the front pages or at the page of obituary. They will say Nigeria national grid collapsed yesterday. So it became a regular thing. What is even collapsing? A country of 200 million people, generating less than 10,000 megawatts of electricity, distributing less than 2,000 of the same electricity, 24 years of democracy, tens of billions of dollars investment. It has created nothing, no light, but darkness. Ladies and gentlemen, So, you have the sector that is riddled with enough corruption. So, where is the light coming from? Unfortunately, the borrowing and the sorrowing and all of that, as listed, the playbook is still there. It is still playing out. So, you can easily tell what the end goal is going to be. Take the money, share the money, give them the hope, make them believe that we are doing something. Let them see it as if, yeah, something is going on, when nothing is going on. Abracadabra.
the hands of the magician. Eh? The first hand is to distract you. The second hand is to prepare what is called the magic. Abracadabra. That's exactly what they are practicing. Anyway, I'll take it a bit further. Yeah, the news. Like, not taking responsibility per se, as they will never do. Okay? So, Nigeria is a place where, like I said earlier, it is how they want Nigeria to be, that Nigeria is. Now you they worry yourself, that Nigeria is not working. According to them, Nigeria is working perfectly. They share Nigeria as just like the spoil of war. They share Nigerians as well as extra of the spoil of the war. So they share the oil blocks, okay? They share the land. They share the positions. They share this. They share that. And Nigerians have no share at all. So, Wike made the news. And this was when they said they are revoking the lands given to, according to them, some prominent Nigerians. But that won't really sell. If they didn't say they revoked the land of Peter Obi. But these are the names of the prominent ones of those they removed, revoked their what have you. But because of what that generates, kind of, I decided to pick up a clip where, say now, one of the problems, one of the crime of Peter Obi is the fact that he always presents himself as a corrupt, a corrupt-free, selfless individual who had an opportunity, like everyone else. And when you say opportunity to let your own selfishness and greed take the most part of you, he had that chance, but he never used it. That seems to be so far-fetched to so many people. And to make it worse, Obi will be bragging and be saying, go and verify. So at a point, I came to a conclusion that apart from the fact that a lot of his critics, they have shown that they hated or they don't like him because of where he come from as an Igbo man. He dared the undareables. He desired what should be forbidden fruit. He wanted to be president of Nigeria, an Igbo man. That is an abomination. Apart from that, I think the way he brags that he stole no penny. If you see any property, if you see any land, if you see any of these, for example, we tell you, if you see any house that is different from the house I have in my own village, in my state, and the house I have in Onitsha, where did he say he has a house? He said, if you see any land or any house in Abuja, in any part of Nigeria, not even outside Anambra, and they say this land is Peter Obi land. This house, now Peter Obi get the house when he was governor. This land, they gave the land to him when he was this or that. he said you should take it. So I came to the conclusion that a lot of those who were taking a dig at him, they actually hated him for not being corrupt. I came to that conclusion. Okay? I know others who will say, no, Maiyegun Dakpada, stop that. Define corruption. I'm saying, okay. I'm saying the known and popular corruption in Nigeria. The one that automatically turned the state bank account to your family bank account the moment you become the governor. The one that says everything you get, land, property, like you have Thiefnubu in Lagos. Thiefnubu decided to own almost the entire Lagos and the entire Lagosians, all because he was governor. That's the only reason. The government properties that they use government money to buy, renovate, and they call that government governor's guest house. When Thiefnubu was going, he awarded them to himself, changed the ownership, the landed properties and all of that. The ones he's going to give to his wife, to those who are commissioners, to those who are this or that. I mean, like regular, those who are judges, because he could do that. The ones he will give to his friends, he will give to other people. You know what I mean? Like, because he could do that. In Nigeria, you could do that, even though ethically and morally. Why would you do that? Because you are a governor. Abi? So that's the corruption I'm talking about. He happened to be a billionaire who has a business. A business that you can also, in a way, say his business flourished because of his own seat at the table of the elite of Nigeria. But we are not talking about the public service. Public service. He was a governor. He had a chance of making billions and stealing them like everyone else. So that when you talk about the criminals who were stealing money, you will easily mention his name and talk about how many properties his wife has abroad. I mean, how many property he himself currently controls elsewhere. So he sort of made people so angry when he tells them to go and verify. So I decided then, I kind of concluded then that a lot of them hated him because he's not corrupt. But they just don't want to say it. So it's easier then, to come around and say, come and hear, oh. Peter Obi the way talk, say no get house, he no get land for Abuja. Liar. Where the Wike has just revoked his house. His land in Abuja. That's going to be the headline. It's easier. Breaking news. Wike revokes CFO from Peter Obi. Where Wike revokes lands from Peter Obi and others. You don't need to know the others. So Peter Obi said they chop from the sherry. But that's when I said it's actually like intentional. But the guy did say something about this land somewhere, just for the record.
The present governor of Bauchi State, gave me a land in Abuja. He said you can ask him. He asked me 3 months ago that I'm the only person in Abuja land who haven't built it. I said, I told you, I do not need a land in Abuja. I don't want house all over the place. I'm not against those who do it. As long as it doesn't conflict my interest, they can.
So I remember him saying that. So I was like, he did say he didn't. He did actually say they gave him a land in Abuja. He mentioned the person who gave him the land, who is now the governor of Bauchi State. What is that guy's name again? Mohammed something. Why did I forget the name? And he said he told him that I don't need a land. I don't want houses anywhere. So in 2023, Wike is revoking the land now, and it is headline in Nigeria. Isn't it? Well, that's just for the record. There is also here a summary of what played out inside the courtroom in Chicago, summarized by Symphony. And indeed, if you really want to see more on this, just go to their own YouTube channel on YouTube. Search for Symphony. You kind of have enough to feed on. But I'm going to use this one. And the credit is theirs, by the way. Watch this.
On Tuesday, Judge Jeffrey Gilbert of the United States District Court for the Northern District of Illinois stated that President Bola Tinubu weakened his education privacy rights when he submitted a contentious certificate to run for office in 2022. The judge said the need to confirm the genuineness or otherwise of the certificate Tinubu submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, outweighs Tinubu's personal concerns over its consequences. Opposition leader Atiku Abubakar had sought a subpoena to obtain Bola Tinubu's academic records following several inconsistencies in the submissions Tinubu certified under oath to INEC. But President Bola Tinubu had desperately fought to have his records blocked and inaccessible to Atiku Abubakar. Tinubu pleaded that granting his opponent access to his records would infringe on his privacy rights under the Family Educational and Privacy Rights Act, FERPA, a U.S. law that protects students' academic records. But Judge Gilbert, in his ruling on September 19, said the opposition candidate's election petition, in which the records he sought would be used, far outweighed Mr. Tinubu's privacy interest because he exposed his records to public scrutiny by submitting a controversial diploma to INEC, knowing the political stakes of other contenders. The judge said the Family Educational and Privacy Rights Act permitted records disclosure if it is necessary to comply with a lawfully issued subpoena or judicial order. Here, the court finds that the applicant's interest in obtaining intervener's record from Chicago State University outweighs intervener's privacy rights because intervener put his diploma at issue by submitting to INEC. Judge Gilbert said in his ruling issued late Tuesday over the case filed on August 2. He said Atiku Abubakar's petition was far too crucial to ignore. Meanwhile, rattled by the United States Magistrate Court's order directing Chicago State University to release his academic records to the People's Democratic Party, PDP presidential candidate Abubakar Atiku, President Bola Tinubu on Thursday rushed to file an emergency application with the district court to stall the order's implementation. The jittery President Tinubu contended that a magistrate should only report and recommend to the district judge in such matters. Tinubu further argued that the magistrate court had issued what seemed to be a final order on September 19, demanding immediate compliance starting on September 21. He requested the court to delay effect of the magistrate's order until September 25, 2023, to fully consider its scope and its application of the law to the facts presented. If Chicago State University complies with the magistrate's order prior to this court having an opportunity to review the order, intervener will suffer prejudice because the information will have been disclosed and effective relief will be impossible. At an emergency hearing on Thursday, a judge of the District Court of Northern Illinois, Eastern Division, Nancy Maldonado, agreed to delay an order requiring Chicago State University to provide the academic documents of President Tinubu. The order brings a reprieve to the Chicago State University and Tinubu in their first efforts to convince the court against ordering the release of the requested documents. Ms. Maldonado ordered the lawyers on both sides to file additional arguments by next Thursday, September 28. Mindful of legal deadlines in the Nigerian Supreme Court, Ms. Maldonado said she would rule as quickly as possible after that. "I'll have a busy weekend," she said. the former vice president, requested 4 documents from Chicago State University. 1. An example of a Chicago State University diploma issued to President Thiefnubu in 1979. 2. Mr. Thiefnubu's diploma issued in 1979. 3. Any example of a Chicago State University diploma that contains the same font, seal, signatures, and wordings as contained in Exhibit C to the first Leo Declaration, which purports to be a CSU diploma issued to Mr. Thiefnubu on or about June 22, 1979. 4. Chicago State University documents certified and produced by Jamar Orr, an Associate General Counsel at CSU at the time. The PDP presidential candidate in the 2023 general election, Atiku Abubakar, had on Tuesday in Nigeria filed an appeal to the Supreme Court seeking to overturn the September 6 judgment of the Justice Haruna Samani-led Election Petitions Court that affirmed Thiefnubu's victory in the February exercise. The subpoena is expected to help Atiku obtain a certified clarification under which Bola Thiefnubu was admitted into Chicago State University and the diploma he submitted to INEC, which was purportedly issued in 1979 and signed by Elnora Daniel. But Ms. Daniel only arrived at the Chicago State University in 1998 from Hampton University, 19 years after Thiefnubu was said to have graduated. The People's Democratic Party, however, views Thiefnubu's motion as a delay tactic to stall the release of academic records before the Supreme Court begins hearing Atiku's appeal against the September 6 judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Court. It should be now obvious, even to the blind, that Thiefnubu is hiding something in his records at the Chicago State University and even elsewhere. According to the PDP, it is just a matter of time before Nigerians begin to see the true position of Atiku on the records of Thiefnubu at the Chicago State. On Tuesday,
you get a report, a very sound and detailed summary, yeah? So Atiku also added that Nigerians will be so shocked with what they have found, and they just wanted the Chicago State University to be the one that will be legally in position to release them. So they would then push them to Nigerians and all that. And that's going to be Monday in 2 days' time. And if you are watching the replay, it's going to be tomorrow. Exactly. I can't wait to see the shock, and I can't wait as well to kind of peruse the whole thing once they release them. But why is this so desperate that they shouldn't, and it's going to cause him irreparable damage? And it's asking for the family law and family privacy. She call you mad, who be Kolu's family, Gogo? Who signed the privacy for him when he was a boy? Or who signed that policy, whatever, for him when he was when he entered that Chicago State University? What is he hiding? So many questions, no answers, right? That's what you say. Meanwhile, another person is bragging about his own alma mater. The place is good, where you can meet all those who are like his childhood this and childhood that. As annoying as it may sound to you, for some of you who don't even like his voice, this is one of the reasons why they don't like him. He brags, where a lot of you who are defending the drug addicts, the drug baron, as well as his crooked past, shamelessly, this guy would brag somehow, and they're like, you will never be president of Nigeria, or more, if that makes you feel better.
I know, I always say to people, the university that belongs to us, because the BC and the DBC, they are all my mates here. So when I go to people, I say, don't ask me about my degree. Let me tell you that I was in university. And everybody who comes to the University of Nigeria Soccer, while I was there for 4 years, I said, didn't notice me. Maybe he wasn't in this university. I went to see the bishop of Soccer today, the Catholic bishop of Soccer, and I said, I went to his house and I said, I called the name of this thing, called the name of the people. He said, I said, I said, my God, I know every street here. I live in all Florida. Everybody knows that I built my own house. I'm in Sugar person. So I know Sugar. So visit. Thank you. Mr. Ben, thank you, thank you, thank you. The lecture, I'm sure, the DVC and the VC have listened to it. I've always said VC. I'm one of those who are protesting when I hear people being given doctorate degree by a great university like Politico. And as governor, and until recently, just about 2 weeks ago, a university insisted they must give me a doctorate degree. And I've always insisted. Today I want to answer doctor. I'll read for it. But there are people, by the time I listen to people, and I say, you might consider them for a doctorate, honorary doctorate degree. You will know what this lecture means to me and all of us who listen to this lecture. You know, in Nigeria, we don't like lecture, we don't like meetings like this. If I say I'm doing wine carrying or burial ceremony and everything, the place will be filled. If it's a political meeting now, the place will be filled. That is the failure of Nigeria. Because we don't listen in what we want to listen to. We listen to, hey, then I thank you. You won't know what is done. So people like me today, you know what I did when you were lecturing? I asked them to find me 3 of the books, because in your book, I said find 3. Because I usually travel to 1, keep 2 in different places, so I can be referring to them. Then for them to educate us on ethical leadership and failure. And when the country is still failing, I was able to show it clearly. The only thing where I disagree a bit with him is that it is a failing state. If I listen to you very well, Nigeria is a failed state. What qualifies you for a failed state? Number 1 is when you're no longer in control of your territory. Nigeria is no longer in control of its territory. I was to leave Thiefnubu 6 a.m. this morning. I was told that I have to wait till 7:30 to drive to Shege because the road is somehow by the security agency. I stood here and I was telling them a story that I used to go to from here to Thiefnubu to in the night to party and come back by 3 a.m. So now I'm being told to wait till 7:30. And that is the situation. I left here ago yesterday coming to Thiefnubu. I was told, no, you can't drive that far. You can fly to Lagos and fly to Thiefnubu. And I said, in this territory, they told me that I will kill people in Limba. I said, please be going. Whatever we get, we'll see. It's not part of our country. That is the failed state. The second thing is when you're no longer in control of your economy. We're no longer in control of this economy. I was telling somebody yesterday who told me about inflation. And I said Nigeria is not calculating the inflation very well. And I don't want to join issues with them. But I read inflation statistics. And it showed that transport over the past 1 year increased by about 3%. And I said, you see how we have become liars in this context. From Monica to Lagos, on a bus, used to be 9,000. Now it's 19,000 something. How can it be 3%? And that is nonsense. We have an inflation that is over 50%. Same thing goes, nobody knows the rate of exchange today. You wake up in the morning, what you get, everything, and you ask that question. And that is what is happening here. We have enough unemployment that nobody can imagine the level of unemployment in Nigeria. Nobody can measure it today. He said that we are just mass producing poverty. That's all we're doing. We're now faking where I was coming from. I told Bishop, I said, Bishop, let nobody tell you that the oil people are still on oil, but there's illegal mining. The only people who are stealing oil are people in government. Nobody here can steal oil. Nobody here. To steal oil, you need a ship. For a ship to come into our territory, you need a must approve it. It must have necessary approval. And the ship is not tiny. It's not canoe. It's not small boat. It is a ship that carries several barrels. So it is people in government that are stealing it. For anybody to tell you it's illegal mining, I say it's not illegal. I told people today, I told Bishop, I said, can I come to Suka here? In any community in Suka to mine anything illegally without the citizens approving it, they will kill me immediately. So if anybody is doing mining here, it's by approval of Nigeria. Nigeria has turned into a criminalized society where those who are supposed to be leading it have turned it themselves into criminal. That's why we don't care about anything. So if you ask now, Peter, where did you go to school? He says, oh, it was in Suka. Where is your result? Which department? He doesn't know. And then the university said, and people said, university should release it. Then Peter will sue. I said, don't release it. Hey, what's the name? This was one who said he went to this university. I was in Suka. I'm a student in Suka. It doesn't take me.
Let be poor. Breathe. Don't suffocate them.
It's like Peter Obi was like going on and on and on and on him. And they don't like that. Imagine, people hating him for saying Nigeria is a failed country. And then explaining why Nigeria is a failed country. Why Nigeria has become a crime scene. They wanted him to be talking about this country is a great country. We must all work together and ensure that our let's pray for the government. That's what they wanted him to do, so they don't like him. An Igbo man that want to be president of Nigeria. Can't they parade himself as somebody we know they steal? There's somebody where can't they talk as if to say, is the one that should be condemning the past criminals. Here you get, I think there's so much why they don't like him. That's part of them. They didn't want him to keep saying it. They wanted those that will say, man, this country, we need this country to, all of us need to come together. All of us need to lie to themselves. They don't like him saying that. They don't like anybody saying that. You know me, they talk and say, Olori Brukula on leader. So me, they don't cancel my name from anybody if you be president in Nigeria. Cancel you this one. You don't go be councillor. Me, they don't cancel my name. I can't even be councillor in Nigeria, ever. So for somebody who won't be president, to be telling people, they said he hates Nigeria. They said he's spoiling Nigeria name. They said he's demarketing Nigeria. But you see that Kalu, Ojo Pagogo, the Bala Blue and Bulu Bla, the Escobar Totunje Pablo, the bagman for the heroin traffickers, Lagos landlord. That one is better. Is promoting Nigeria. Is selling Nigeria. And the Olori Burukus they went to America to spend $100,000. Hey, have you heard that one? Thiefnubu people, they go America. This hunger where they went to Otobokeyamo and the rest of them. They're going to go carry Olosho in America. Have you heard that? I should have used that as the rider of this broadcast. Thiefnubu and others spent over $100,000 chasing Olosho in New York. There's a news, so it's not Joko. Don't think I'm making it up. I'm not making it up. Not just them, Sha. Other people from other places in Africa.
who went for the United Nations this thing. Since they no see Biden, and no world leader wanted to meet Pablo, all of them, they went to town. People will follow call to America. They started chase Olusho. All of them, Olusho, New York, we collected dollars. Now, dollar we know the Nigeria, they bring can't give you. So I don't know if you understand me, because I'm very sure there will be Nigerians there who also did the Olusho job with them, collected the money. Or a Nigerian we did the supply. They said they were going to strip club in New York, and they were blowing money on naked women on stage. I wish they would give us images, and don't really thought images may start coming out soon. And they say, that was when they went to New York in September. But it's not just them. They said diplomats, other people from other parts of the world. They went into town. They were shopping for Olusho. And the people where they said the image of Nigeria be that. I want Niro jati. They don't want you to tell them the truth. They know it. They say, all of us know it. Just talk about the solution. When you now say the solution is that anywhere where you see Thiefnubu, make you arrest him. Hold him, tie his hand, tie his leg, come carry him, go anywhere where you catch him, carry him, go oritameta of that place and call others. If you see all of these criminals who are your lawmakers, those ones who are like your governors and all of their commissioners, ministers, and the rest of them, if you see them anywhere, oh yeah, arrest, you want, that's the solution. They say, that's impossible now. You want us to go and die. Ashiri, why are you asking me for a solution then? As if to say you don't know the solution. As if to say your solution, asking for a solution is genuine. You love your oppressors. You love these criminals. You don't want solution. You just want me to stop talking about them. And I know that. Give us solution. All this talk. Baba, nobody glued you to that screen, except if you have a mental problem that you can't figure out where you are right now, confused. You can actually leave the broadcast. You know that. Instead of asking for a solution where you don't need. What you are interested in is just stop talking about them. Let us start praying for them. Olori buruku ara yin, you cannot pray for criminals. Go and read it. It is right there in the book of life. Chapter 1, verse 1. You cannot pray for criminals. You punish them. You punish criminals. You don't reward criminals. You punish them. That is the first rule of life in the book of life. You want to pray for those who actually don't wish you well. Do you think somebody who is in position to give you the best education policy that's going to help millions, including your children, in their life, and that person took the money and decided to go and buy himself private jets, build private mansions, buy different expensive automobiles, send his own children abroad for education, and then decided to come around and say, I am actually for you, I'm doing it for you. Do you think that one actually likes you? Do you think he wishes you well? Somebody that is in charge of building the best medical facilities that will actually serve and save lives. The lives of the rich, the lives of the poor. A system that works for everyone. And they decided to use the money to build themselves private mansions, buy properties abroad, private jets here and there. And you think they like you. They don't like you. They hate you. But you don't see it that way. You don't pray for people who hate you. Go and check everything, even in the Bible. In the past, nobody they pray for people where they can't kill them. Everybody carry bow and arrow. Women, children, everybody, anything where you feel carry. Defend yourself. Not go and pray. Hey, please don't kill me. Please don't kill me in the name of God. Okay, I'll be waiting near me. They are criminals. It is what they do. They take from you. So there's no point in praying for them. You punish them. You don't reward them. Do you understand? They found a place where they manufacture gun in Sokoto. Maybe for the camera. See a place, so they just discovered that too. Not Sokoto, in Kaduna. Where terrorists or people who are manufacturing guns for criminals And it is a breaking news for them. It's a big thing, but I bet it. The same weapons they are using to perpetrate terrorism in northern Nigeria are not manufactured in Kaduna. No, they are not. Maybe not these ones.
Si police uniform, c'est un uniform. Yes.
They found the gun manufacturer. Does that place look like a place where they manufacture AK-47 and all those things that terrorists are using in northern Nigeria, whereby even the Nigerian soldiers who jammed them. When I say jammed, I mean Nigerian soldiers who actually were stationed in a place to provide security. And then the terrorists came in their hundreds on their bikes with their guns. And the Nigerian military started negotiating. We are not coming here. We didn't come here to fight you. We are passing new. We are passing new. Sheka Bereni. Mo will start. All of them, because you know they wear soldier uniform, they carry guns. Shemo will start. Kasari Shu Arawambi. How many are you? How many are you? 20. We are like about 300. Mo Kasari Jensen. Hey, Ogbeni, call your officers here. They are blocking our way. Those are terrorists who are telling Nigerian military soldiers. They can call. You know, go to Sabilu, Sabisu, let them pass, so may they no kill you, they go kill you, let them pass, so Nigerian soldiers and terrorists up north. And they just cleared them. 300 of them, they zoomed off. In eastern Nigeria, where they said that they killed 7 military officers or whatever, according to them, they said they killed about 6 of them, engaged with criminals who are operating in eastern Nigeria. And when Nigeria military, what did they do? They came back. They didn't go after the criminals who had guns, who faced and killed them. They went straight into the civilian communities in Imo State. And they started shooting and killing them and burning their properties. To justify why you know? In Niger State, 36 soldiers, including 1 military helicopter, lost. 36 soldiers lost their lives, including 1 military helicopter. Same day. At the end of the day, they just showed us one movie. You remember that video? Where we saw like about hundreds of people inside one forest. And the Nigerian soldiers were interviewing them. They said they have arrested all the terrorists in Niger State. They killed 36 soldiers. And we're looking at, how did you arrest these ones? How did you do it? And all that. Remember, that was the last we heard about it. They've killed more after that. But they just didn't make it news. Unfortunately. Man, leave on at that, Charade. So that I can take 1 or 2 calls, Abby. And we can call it a night. You have a lot to say too, don't you? The line will be opened in a minute or 2. But first thing first, like the broadcast if you haven't. Share it if you haven't already. You can still subscribe onto my channel as well. And at the same time, use the number on your screen. And you can call in.
làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Maiyegun Diary láyé bí nọ́mbà wá.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Maiyegun Diary láyé bí nọ́mbà wá.
Maiyegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú.
Maiyegun Diary láyé bí nọ́mbà wá.
Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube.
Maiyegun Diary láyé bí nọ́mbà wá.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Maiyegun já wa sí.
Maiyegun Diary láyé bí nọ́mbà wá.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o.
Maiyegun Diary láyé bí nọ́mbà wá.
Bó bá ṣe eré àní Maiyegun máa wí.
Maiyegun Diary láyé bí nọ́mbà wá.
Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o.
Maiyegun Diary láyé bí nọ́mbà wá.
Maiyegun Diary Diary Politico.
Maiyegun Diary láyé bí nọ́mbà wá.
Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Maiyegun.
Maiyegun Diary láyé bí nọ́mbà wá.
Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o.
Maiyegun Diary láyé bí nọ́mbà wá.
Àní Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Maiyegun Diary láyé bí nọ́mbà wá.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Lórí Facebook.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Lórí YouTube.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Ijó ìgbádìyẹ.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Kí gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Òkúra olóṣèlú.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀. Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Oníkan ṣáàtì ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o. Àyè.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran.
Ha! Kì máa yí ṣe eré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣe eré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o, ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́run ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sè mọ́bẹ̀. èèpo ọ̀bọ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti jọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bóyá àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán wò á kàmù Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lúwẹ̀ tún ra kì Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lúwẹ̀ tún ra kì o ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lúwẹ̀ tún ra